shorty playing in the front yard of the crib. Fell down and I bumped my head. Somebody helped me up and asked me if I bumped my head. I said, yeah. So then they said, oh, so that means you gonna switch it on them. I said, yeah, flip mode. Flip mode is the greatest. You know, and as a shorty, I was always told that if I ain't gonna be part of the greatest, I gotta be the greatest myself. Come on, yeah. Come on. Yeah, nigga, what a surprise. Give you something, make a nigga close both of your eyes. All my niggas getting money capitalized. Die, little small guy, we on the rise. Everything a nigga touch, platinumized. Full of your crisp, you know we coming all on supplies. Got a big gun and I'ma show you the size. You fuck with any of my flip mode family ties. Me and my niggas be coming through, stalking you out. Killing off any and everything you talking about. See you in the club, now we walking you out. Should've thought twice before you went and open your mouth. Yo, anyway, we stay keeping it moving. Fucking with the wrong nigga, hope you know what you're doing. Now blame me, all the same niggas is lame. It's not a game, make a name, still splitting your frame. Y'all niggas had enough? Give me some more. Y'all niggas want the wild shit? Give me some more. Yo, split for the weed at? Give me some more. I know y'all niggas need that. Give me some more. Even though we getting money, you could give me some more. With the cars in the big crib, give me some more. Everybody spread love, give me some more. If you want it, let me hear you say it, give me some more. Blast with a branch, give me my cash, look at my ass. Running with my money, son, go out with a blast. Do what you want, the niggas cut in the corner, you fucking up the order. Go ahead and meet the reporter. Yo, she telling news on how you switch to a bitch. Little fake, funny style, nigga, chill with a snitch. So now I pass you straight, I don't got nothing to ask you. Make a little room for me, you know my niggas to pass through. Cartier, Sidney Portier, hooray shit. Roll with all of my niggas from around the way shit. When I come through, your niggas know I do my thing. Bring more shit to generate money. Cha-ching. Arrest you, lyrically, flow will caress you. Bless you, then the nigga come to your rescue. Why you assuming nigga blossom and bloom? I'm coming soon, hit you with a boom, give me some room. Y'all niggas had enough? Give me some more. Y'all niggas want the wild shit? Give me some more. Hey, split, where the weed at? Give me some more. I know y'all niggas need that. Give me some more. Even though we getting money, you can give me some more. Cars in the big crib, give me some more. Everybody's red love, give me some more. If you want it, let me hear you say it, give me some more. Yo, live nigga shit, know what I mean? That represent why we getting money and reign supreme. Hope y'all niggas know we coming through full steam. Can't see me, better turn on your high beam. All my niggas while I'm ringing the siren. Flip mode, we go with niggas from my team. Never should you ever try to fuck with my cream. I OD when my shit get all in your bloodstream. Every time we be ripping and be blowing it down, blowing you all fucking with the hottest niggas around. Rockets with me and my people run through your town, holding it down, king of the wild nigga, give me my crown. Hey, all my people need to come and surround. A nigga be hitting so much to make you fall on the ground. Sure to make you shot, that's what I be all about. Turning you out, making all of you niggas fall out. Y'all niggas had enough? Give me some more. Y'all niggas want the wild shit? Give me some more. Hey, split for the weed at? Give me some more. I know y'all niggas need that. Give me some more. Even though we getting money, you can give me some more. With the cars in the big crib, give me some more. Everybody spread love, give me some more. If you want it, let me hear you say it. Give me some more.
This goes out to all the women in the world, especially her. You know it don't even matter your age, don't even matter your color. Yo, fellas, I ain't forget about y'all. This is for everybody that like things. Just listen to what I'm saying and do it and take a chance. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put yours, then I put mine. Then we can dip down low and roll and grind. Just get on the floor like I said before. Y'all remember that down low? Just put a little dip with it. Now roll those hips with it. Pop it, push it, rock it, roll it. Can't control it, I come hold it. It's all in fun, so take a chance. Just get on the floor and do that dance, y'all. I know you like it, so don't try to fight it. Turn around, baby, let me see you from the back. Yeah, I like it like that. Get up now, roll those hips. Drop down, double up on those dips. Freak nasty, wanna see, can y'all do this right? I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put yours, then I put mine. Then we can dip down low and roll and grind. Back again with the second verse. It's all clean, so I'm not gonna curse. Drop a bass like a bad habit. Love all women, cause I gotta have it. Coming at y'all in stereo. I'm riding that thing like a rodeo. Hang on, baby, cause the ride is rough, and I got my girls in the front. Now and later, just bumping that rump. Raise it up, let me see that brown. Slap it, girl, make it jiggle around. Round and round that rump goes. Where it stop, yo, no one knows, yeah. Freak nasty, wanna see, can y'all do this right? I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put yours, then I put mine. Then we can dip down low and roll and grind.
Well, all right, y'all. All right, y'all. If you ain't dipping, you must be tripping. If you ain't doing it down low, got to go. Got to go. To the people that moving slow, just moving slow. Yo, DJ, pump it up some more.
It's off to the show in a limo. Before the show, I gotta get that dough. Pay them girls what they work. Slip that money under that skirt. Take it off, baby, let me see. You might trying to get enough. So what's up, yo DJ? When the party's getting slow, join this jam and watch that flow get taken over like in '94 when I had the whole world getting down low. New Orleans born, ATL living, freak nasty is what I'm giving. My juice is sweet like Georgia peaches. Women suck it up like leeches. It feels so good, you must admit you like this. Shh, yeah, y'all know the song. So come on, won't you sing it? I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip.
That's right.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
All right, chat. How we all doing tonight? How's everybody doing? Looks like we have some super chats. While I was playing some Busta Rhymes, the Fallen Kang donated $2
Have you heard of Jesus?
and said that's right. And that is indeed right. And very unfortunately, goddamn, very unfortunately, but also, I guess, thank you very much. 2 days ago, the Duke of Tumwater donated $40.
Have you heard of Jesus?
And says, here's some money for you to watch Owen Benjamin's Twitter rant I posted in Discord. So, that's not so much fun. Do we really need to do that, chat? I don't know if we need to do that. Let's see. Chat. Wolfman says someone paid you know what that means, and then someone else says you're gonna have to garfle the Narflack. Is that the Coneheads thing? I think that's the Coneheads reference. If I'm not mistaken. I think you're making a Coneheads reference there. Which is a fantastic movie. It's probably the only really good of the SNL movies, I think. It was kind of the first one, if I'm not mistaken. I'll put my headphones in here. Make sure that didn't mess anything up. Let's see. We'll play the That's Right thing again, just to check.
That's right.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
Okay, so looks like the headphones worked. Somebody donate $40 to not do it. Yes, please. By all means. Eldritch fan says, I had a scary time Friday. I'm fine, but it got me thinking it might be time to get serious about the whole religion thing. Well, yeah, make your peace with God. I can't stress that enough. But do make sure you find God and not religion. There's nothing worse than the guy that found religion and not God. Somebody says LeVar Burton is now white. I did not know that. I don't know why. The Reading Rainbow guy, Geordie LaForge, chief engineer of the Starship Enterprise. I did not know that. Kuta Kente. I don't think Kuta Kente is white. That doesn't make sense to me, chat. I think maybe you're fucking with me. So what is the? I don't want to watch Owen. Why would you donate to watch Owen? You don't even build compounding. Yeah, he made Mexico pay for it. So he says he did a DNA test that his great grandpa was a white man and a Confederate soldier. Well, it happens. It happens. So. What did people donate? So there's a is it the video? See, Owen Benjamin's going off about libertarianism because Owen Benjamin, probably because he is a fucking fat asset, was going on about how stupid it is to want to try and get rid of the FBI, even though the FBI was a temporary fucking thing that was supposed to be going after the mob and like prohibition and only last a few years. But no, Owen being the batshit insane authoritarian he is, he's like, no, it's a good idea. And then he was talking about libertarians are crazy. Everything's terrible because we're more free. You know, because in the 50s, you know, I mean, in a lot of ways we are more free than the 50s. And that's a good thing. But in a lot of ways we're not. He says, in mild defense of Owen Benjamin, his recent rants about Indians have been extremely funny. Indians don't get shit on enough. They're a real menace. I don't know. I can't defend. Owen's one of those guys that just radiates fucking evil to me. Like, just everything about him. There's certain guys, man. Like, I'd put Movie Bob in that camp. Fuentes. You know, they're just despicable, you know. Oh Lord. She says, listen to the new Blink 182 album. I didn't. No, I wasn't a particularly big fan of Blink 182 in like 1999. So. So he says, there's a saying, you only feel your chains when you struggle against them, meaning you feel free till you find out you aren't. Yeah, look, I don't have the typical right-wing rose-colored glasses about the fucking 50s. I mean, you might say I have that about the 90s, because I think the 90s are objectively, like, damn near the fucking peak of Americana. I would argue we were never simultaneously more prosperous and free. Like, maybe, you know, I mean, to some extent we're more prosperous than we were in the 90s because technology evolves, but adjust it for that. Like, yeah, maybe we were more prosperous in the 50s, but we certainly weren't more free. Maybe in, like, pioneer fucking times we were more free, but, you know, you shitting in a hole in the ground, freezing to death, and dying a diarrhea-related death. You know, you're maybe not so prosperous. So he says Owen seems more insane than evil. No, he's evil. And he's very much insane, too. But he's also an evil, evil man. For one thing, he's a closet homosexual. Can we come out and admit that? Is there anybody not on board with that? Owen Benjamin is a homosexual. Most of Owen Benjamin's erratic behavior, shitty behavior, most of his rants, most of his insanity is him desperately trying to run away from the gay thoughts. In fact, oh, he has kids, you know. Yeah, no amount of him coming in the stupid broad he got to marry him makes him not gay, okay? It just doesn't. But yeah, I don't share the right wing, like, you know, love of the 50s. Like, would I want to go back in time and live in 1955? Probably fucking not. I'll take 1995. Hell, I'll take 2005 over this. But 1955, nah. I'll take 85. Not as much as 95, but I'll take it. At least I know 95's coming. But like 55, no. 65, probably not. I mean, there's a lot of free hippie pussy, but, you know, a little too hairy back then for my taste. 75, no, not so much. So he says, would not surprise me at all if he is. No, he is. But there's no question. Okay? First of all, he's admitted it, basically. He said before that he's had bisexual thoughts, that he's done stuff with other dudes and all this other stuff, and he's always talking about dicks and cum all the time. Everything he ever talks about, it's like You know, he talked about like Ghostbusters, and he said that Crossing the Streams was about like sword fighting, dudes sword fighting with their dicks, and the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man was made of cum. These are things he said, okay? He's gay. Okay? He's gay. He's always thinking about dicks and cum and buttholes. He's gay. He is a gay man, okay? And he can't accept that, and he has to make it everyone else's problem, which is a pretty fucking common thing on the right. There's a little Mexican cat boy who's done basically the same thing. Yeah, I'll take the 90s over the 50s, though. And people say, oh, the 90s gave us this. No, they didn't. Not really. Okay? 9/11 gave us this. 9/11 gave us this. 9/11 put a... As far as I'm concerned, the 90s as a cultural as a cultural time died on 9/11. That's when it died. And it gave us this. And this is a nightmare. And 9/11 didn't happen organically. Sorry to let you fucking know that, chat. Owen's mom cheated on his dad with other men. Well, there's a lot of people think homosexuality is genetic. Or at least, you know, being predisposed to it is. So he said Elon banned Fuentes again on Twitter. Good. Good. You know what? On principle, I would let Fuentes back on Twitter. I actually probably would ban Owen, because Owen's actually kind of crossed the line legally. He's actually made threats, and I know doxing isn't illegal, but I think that is a good standard for these sites to have. But yeah, on principle, I'd let Fuentes on, but it's just funny to see that he can't have this thing he wants, because he's garbage. He said you're only delaying the inevitable, fire the video up. I don't want to. I don't want to. Why do you people want me to watch this, okay? It's deeply upsetting to me. And there's nothing of value. Nothing of value comes out of that man's mouth, okay? When he says Fuentes should be banned from real life. Fuentes should be sent to an island with only women. His own personal hell. So he says, how would I stop 9/11 then? Would you try? I mean, what am I going to do? Like, if I go back in time to before it, what am I going to do? Go to the president and say, Mr. President, 9/11's going to happen. He goes, I know, and shoots me in the head. So he says, banning Fuentes from real life wouldn't do anything, since he completely avoids it. Yeah, can we get Fuentes banned from McDonald's? That would be hilarious. Can we make a McDonald's? Like, I want Fuentes to become synonymous with McDonald's to the point where McDonald's has to fucking distance himself from him to the point where they ban him from their fucking restaurant. Alright, so this is a Twitter rant that Owen had. God, I hate this motherfucker. Above it, he types, the truth about government and libertarianism, everyone telling you otherwise is either dumb or evil, which is ironic because Owen is very much both of those things.
Hi there. I know I'm going extra hard at the anarcho-capitalist libertarian types and talking about the government doesn't oppress you, and it might...
But it does. It does, Owen. It's literally done that to you.
You might find it odd coming from a guy like me. And so I'm just going to explain.
Well, no, I don't, because I know you're a fed asset. Okay? So I actually don't find it odd, Owen. And I also know you're insane. So I don't expect anything coming out of your mouth to make fucking sense. But it does make sense when I consider the fact that you are most likely a fed asset. That you most likely have spook handlers that nudge you in fucking directions. So he says McD serves homeless bums. They can't ban them. Homeless bums are miles ahead of Fuentes in the hierarchy of humanity, okay? Right now there is a schizophrenic homeless bum smearing his shit on the wall in an alley. And he is more worthwhile and more fit to live than a million Nick Fuentes. So he says, if the feds are paying Benjamin, they aren't getting much value for money. I mean, I don't know. They're probably blackmailing him, if anything else. I don't think they have to pay a lot of these fuckers. Like, maybe Milo got paid, but I think most of them just get blackmailed.
And a lot more effectively and efficiently in a video than just keep tweeting about it. Okay. I keep asking people, what do they want to do that the government keeps them from doing?
I don't know, Owen. Maybe, like, keep all of my fucking paycheck. Like, I understand you don't work for a living, Owen. You really never have. But surely you got paychecks for those times when you were a Z-list fucking Hollywood motherfucker, right? I know now you're getting, like, cash in the mail from schizophrenic people, and I guess that's a lot harder to tax. But some of us that have actual jobs and work for a living... What is the government? Okay. All right. And you know what else, Owen? Let's say I want to fucking smoke weed. I don't. Never been into it. But a lot of my buddies are. Let's say I want to fucking light up a joint right now. Not here in the state of Pennsylvania, I can't. And also, what does the government keep me from doing? Well, for a very long time, not too long ago, they kept me from going to get my hair cut. Or going anywhere without a stupid fucking piece of cloth over my face. So yeah, and I feel like there are some things that the government keeps me from fucking doing that I should have the right to do. Wolfland brings up the government is actively arresting opposition support. And keeping them in... Yeah. The government has a bunch of motherfuckers in cages because they protested an election, which they have a constitutional fucking right to do. Government keeps me from doing fucking a lot of things, Owen. Certain areas of the country, government keeps you from collecting rainwater. Your local government has kept you from doing a lot of things on your stupid fucking totally not gay sex compound. So it says weed hasn't been legalized in Pennsylvania yet. Not recreational. I believe there's medical. It's medically. Yeah, if I wanted to pretend my back hurt or something, I could probably get it if I really fucking wanted it. But also, it basically is illegal still because most of the jobs around here adhere to the federal guidelines and will piss test you. But the point is, no, it's not recreationally legal here. There's no reason it shouldn't be. Now, I know he thinks it's probably degenerate because when he gets high, it's probably even harder for him to chase away the gay thoughts. Forney says, Pennsylvania has a Dem governor and the Dems run one of the state legislature houses. How do I not have legal weed? Well, first of all, you have to remember there's a very entrenched fucking Bible Belt section in the middle of this state. Believe it or not, I live in a dry township. That's how bad it can get in sections of this fucking state. Social conservative-wise. But also, never count on the Democrats to actually come through on the few things they're right about. Kind of like you can never really count on the Republicans to come through on the few things they're fucking right about. And yeah, I personally couldn't do it because, you know, most jobs will piss test you. So, you know, yeah, that's technically not the government doing it, but it is the government doing it because those are guidelines the government has pushed onto these industries. I'm not getting through all this, by the way. I know somebody sent me $40, but I can't. You know I can't. You know I can't when you send it to me. All right.
And they're like, the government doesn't want us to be free. Free to do what, exactly?
Whatever the fuck I want. How about that? How about that, you closet case queer? I understand that you're afraid of freedom, Owen, because, you know, you think if you had too much freedom, you'd be sucking like 40 dicks in the course of an hour. You know? But I don't really want to suck 40 dicks in the course of an hour, Owen, so I don't have to worry about that happening to me. I might want to fuck 40 ginger chicks in an hour, but I don't have the fucking game for that, so...
And be very specific. You know, there are gripes with the government like property tax.
Okay, yes, thank you, Owen. An excellent example.
Based on, you know, your home assessment, based on mortgages, based on usury, based on fiat, pumping up when Californians move to your area. Fine.
No, Owen. You once again, you should have stopped yourself. No, just property tax. There you go, just property tax. That was just, okay. There you go.
But these guys being like, abolish the federal government, abolish the Fed, abolish the FBI. I'm like, why? What?
Okay, I don't say abolish the federal government. I do say abolish the FBI. But I didn't say abolish the federal government. I know there's anarchists out there that want to abolish the whole fucking government. I'm not one of them. I'm a libertarian. I want a limited government.
What are you not allowed to do? They're like, be free. Let me tell you my little story. I've always been really into freedom myself, and
Yes, and by freedom he means dicks. He means dicks. I guarantee you, everything about this story, the word freedom means dicks. It means big, hard, throbbing cocks. He's really been into them. And he really likes when they're into him.
I don't like having a boot over my neck at all.
I kind of think you do, Owen. Because again, you're going to show us what a bootlicker you are in this rant.
And so I've rebelled against everything that I thought was corrupt. I've spoken out against all.
Right Honorable sends $3, says, Owen is too crazy to be a Fed, much like Nick. They do it for free. They make the right look bad. I'm pretty sure Nick is a Fed. Actually, no, I'm not sure Nick is a Fed. Nick is compromised, and I don't know if it's from the Feds. Funday says if some town of 400 that far off the highway can't support more than a post office is dry, who gives a shit? Well, I give a dry. I give a shit. And by the way, here's a good example of how that fucks things up. Social conservatives, once again, fucking things up. A couple years ago, we had a chance to repeal that. Now, we were going to get a new shopping center. Now, this was, oh my God, 10 years ago now, I think. With a Walmart, but it was only going to go in there if we had a fucking restaurant in there. Something like an Olive Garden or a fucking Longhorn Steakhouse or one of those mid-tier kind of restaurants. But they weren't going to go in there if they couldn't get a liquor license. Because that's where restaurants make their money. So because they pulled out, because we voted on this, we had a vote. We had a little vote on making it not a dry county anymore. And the social conservatives, the church faggots, they made sure to get all the old people, bust them out of the fucking old folks' home so that they could shut that down. Also, another engine of economic development that almost came to my shitty little rural town. There's a golf course very close to where I live. I could walk right down to it. A very nice golf course. But they can't get any fucking PGA or any of those big fucking tournaments, whatever the fuck they're called. I don't know. Because they don't have a liquor license. So because of the idiocy of a bunch of social conservatives, this corner of my county remains fucking poor. All because a bunch of so-called Christians think you're not allowed to drink, even though Jesus Christ, the sinless Lamb of God, himself drank and indeed performed a fucking miracle so others could. Forney says, does this dumbass understand the crap small business owners have to go through? Yeah, he doesn't, okay? Because his business is being insane on the internet and having schizophrenics send him fucking money in envelopes. Forney says that dry comment was referring to one near Syracuse. Oh, okay. What? I didn't mean to jump on you there, but it did legitimately piss me off because, you know, sometimes I get fucking tired of having to drive 30 minutes to go just about anywhere. But I'm poor. And when you're poor, you can live in the ghetto or you can live in the sticks. And I'll take the sticks out of the two. I don't want to watch anymore. Come on. This fucking sucks. Yeah, we're skipping ahead. We're skipping about halfway.
Okay, not the goddamn government. And when these kids look out on the world and think, oh, they're replacing white people. I have 4 white kids. Want to know how you make it? You put your dick in a woman and you leave it in. And then you don't kill the kid. Okay?
4 children have to call this lunatic father. All right, I'm out. I'm tapped out. That's when it gets to me, chat. I can't anymore. I know somebody paid, and we did a lot of it. Okay, we did some of it. Fuck it. You gotta add a 0. I can't anymore with that shit. Having a parent that's fucking insane is no goddamn picnic. I assure you. Yeah, so we're tapped out. Does Bedglov accept envelopes? No. Just PayPal and Streamlabs, and there's a Amazon wish list if you want to buy me dumb shit off there. I think thebechtloff.store still works for that. So he says, I don't blame you. It's hard to listen to. I can't. The moment he brings up the fact that he has kids, then I just think about like what a fucking nightmare those kids have to go through. And I can't anymore. Like, it's genuinely a miracle that he hasn't gone all Jack from The Shining on that fucking family by now. That he didn't give him the crisp and wah finishing move. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, 4 children. Yeah. Owen, you can have 40. It won't make the gay thought stop, will it? Or any of those children boys, because now I worry about something else. Worry about what he's doing to him. Forney says, one time I tried to riff on Owen Benjamin. I found it exhausting because he throws out so much insane bullshit. Yeah, it's a 12-minute little fucking video, and I'll be here till 1 in the fucking morning. Just suffering. Thank you very much, Duke of Tumwater. I hope you got your money's worth, because I'm afraid that's all you got. I can't. Once I hear him talking about his kids. Because I know what a nightmare those kids are going through. Have gone through, will go through. Because even if they get out of it in one fucking piece mentally, even if they walk away from their father's insanity of saying things like the moon is a Jewish conspiracy and the Trinity is about gay sex. Things he said, by the way. Doesn't believe in the Trinity because he thinks it's about gay sex. Because everything is about gay sex with him. Even if they get away from this man, you know, not broken mentally, not hating God, they're always going to be haunted. They're always going to be, for large portion of their adult life, even if they get away and they're not fucked in the head, they're going to always wonder, is there a fucking time bomb in my head? Am I going to be a fucking lunatic like my father? And that's if they get away unscathed. They're probably just very definitively going to be fucking lunatics like their father. Because if whatever is wrong with him isn't genetic, it's going to be passed on through nurture. Yes, he also liked to drink paint thinner. Was he giving paint thinner to his children? He drank paint thinner because he thought it killed the Jews in his bloodstream. That's right, chat. Bedglov to Tumblr. Thanks, I hated it. Yeah, it is upsetting. But you got me upset, so I hope it was worth the $40 because I'm tapped out, so that's it. I think you'd have to add another 0 to get me to manage to get through 12 minutes of that. Because I say 12 hours, it would feel like 12 hours. I'd rather go work 12 hours at the dildo shop, fucking dildo factory. In chat says those kids might need paint thinner, to be honest. If only to use as an accelerant while Owen sleeps. I feel bad. I feel bad for the animals. He's got a whole bunch of goats and shit. He probably abuses the shit out of them. I wouldn't trust this man to care for a potted plant. This is Owen may get a bunch of Ron Reagan Juniors. Yeah, no shit. Wouldn't you want to think about it? The lunacy of this man is what he presents as Christianity to these children. So yeah, say a prayer for him tonight if you can, Chad. Well, on lighter news, I started watching Ted, the Seth MacFarlane show with the talking teddy bear, like a prequel to the couple of movies he did. It's pretty fucking funny. Seth MacFarlane's a funny dude. Seth MacFarlane's one of the best motherfuckers in Hollywood. First of all, it doesn't seem like he was on the Epstein flight log, so there's that. But yeah, you know what? Family Guy's still fucking funny. The Orville was fucking amazing. Ted is really funny. Seth MacFarlane's one of the most talented motherfuckers in YouTube. And I know like Matt Stone and Trey Parker can be all bitter and jealous and be mad that, oh, the jokes don't connect to the plot. Yeah, well, at least he didn't puss out as bad as you fucking did. If you had any principles, you'd have quit the moment they censored Muhammad on your fucking show. So yeah, Ted's really good. I like it so far. I think I watched like 2 episodes so far. I haven't watched a ton. I just started watching like Friday. And I started watching the Spawn animated series from the late 90s. I don't know why, man, but I got a hair up my ass recently to like finally give Spawn a good honest shot. Like I've read a little bit of Spawn back in the day. And I had seen the movie back then, the live action one. But I don't know, man. I just got a hair up my ass to give it a shot. So I did order the compendium. It's like the first 50 issues reprinted. I don't expect much because it is early Image Comics, and oh boy. But Spawn was the best of early Image Comics. Like the initial wave of Image Comics. There was some stuff later I liked better. Like I like Witchblade a little better. And then certainly when you get into the 2000s, they had legitimately good books. You know, like, I recommend Witchblade, but with a big old asterisk, you know. It's kind of dumb. It's kind of cheesy. It's kind of very 90s. But I dig it. I think it's at least great in concept. But then you get to books like Invincible, Godland. You know, those are things you can recommend without reservation. But yeah, I started watching the cartoons. Pretty good so far. I just started season 2. It's all on HBO Max, so I've been watching it there. They introduced Angela last season, but they didn't. They literally just introduced her and then nothing happened. And I was like, oh, hot fucking redhead. Kick-ass redhead, hell yeah. And then nothing happened. So I don't know where we're going with that. The guy hitting on her was funny. He's like, hey, baby, you need somebody to lick away your day. I'm like, that's a legitimately good line. Somebody says Witchblade had a fun TV adaptation. Too bad the actress had an alcohol problem. And she also wasn't hot enough, and they really just like toned down all the TNA and shit. And it's like, I can understand why they would do that, but I also like, you shouldn't have. Like, early image still reads better than Ice. Most of it, yeah. I mean, I don't know if like Youngblood does. I think that's about equal, but. Says I don't see why Matt Stone and Trey Parker would be jealous of Seth MacFarlane. They have the same levels of success. Do they though? I think Seth got him topped a little. Somebody says Orville was awesome. Still need to see season 3. Season 3 is amazing. The one they made specifically for Hulu. Oh my god, it's so good. And you know what? Because we're probably not getting any more. It leaves things open-ended that you could continue it, but it also wraps things up in a very satisfying way. Like, I understand the idea that you always want more and more and more. I get it. I feel the same way, but at the same time, like, haven't we seen enough things brought back or continued on to the point where they got really, really bad? Part of me is kind of like, I wouldn't be sad if we left the Orville where it is, because it's in a very good spot. So isn't Witchblade in some bigger comic universe? She is. What they call the Top Cow universe, with characters like the Darkness, the Magdalene, or Magdalena, or whatever, however you pronounce it. And Tomb Raider was in there. Fucking Lara Croft was in that for a very long time. Top Cow published the earliest Tomb Raider comics. And, I mean, it was just set in the fucking Witchblade Darkness universe. You know. I like Top Cow Top Cow was good. Image technically was supposed to be a shared universe initially, even though everybody owned their own thing and there was no continuity between them, but there was when it mattered or when they felt like it. And it was a mess. Image Comics' initial continuity was such a fucking mess that they literally, like 4 years into that company's run, had like a Crisis on Infinite Earth style fucking soft reboot to try and fix it. And still couldn't fix it because none of those guys were actual fucking writers. That was kind of the problem. Somebody asking about the meme. Is that
Have you heard of Jesus?
Is that Samus to the right of Zelda and Peach? The one where they're all like dressed like dominatrixes and Zelda's dripping wax? No, the one is Rosalina. It's Zelda, Rosalina, and Peach. Right Honorable Tips, $3. Thank you very much. Says when I think Fed, I think Milo or Chuck Jones. In fact, Milo said Nick is too spastic to actually be a Fed. Okay, so I've mentioned this before in here, and I'll mention it again. My theory with Nick. So if you want to go back to like 2019-ish, when Nick is doing the whole Groiper Wars thing, and that kind of started before him, but he sort of hopped on and took credit and I guess took the reins. But that was back when all the 19-year-old Zoomers were asking Charlie Kirk, you know, why do we have to be Israel's pay piggy? And they didn't have an answer because there is no fucking answer. And I mean, they They had Charlie Kirk running scared. They had Dan Crenshaw, sitting fucking congressman, running scared. They were making some headway with it. And Nick took the reins and kind of amplified it for a bit, and things were going good. And then all of a sudden, Nick pivots in a big way. He stops talking about Israel as much, and he starts talking about how we need to ban porn, which is a terrible fucking idea. If you would all believe in free speech, which most of these right wingers don't. They're steering really hard in the authoritarianism ditch. But it's a terrible idea for a number of reasons. But okay, we need to ban porn, fine. But then he starts in on don't talk to girls and be an incel and he basically starts hard encouraging his followers to be the biggest fucking losers they possibly can. Don't go be a wage slave. Be a NEET. Live in your parents' basement. Eat McDonald's all the time. And don't ever talk to a girl. So why did that pivot happen? My theory is somebody got to Nick and they blackmailed him. They threatened him. They said, look, we got 4K fucking footage of you munching catboy butthole. You're going to fucking knock it off with the Israel questions. And while you're at it, you're going to make your followers be fucking losers. And that's what he did. Now, who blackmailed him? I mean, there's no shortage of suspects. You could assume it's the feds. Some 3-letter agency. You could think it's even the Mossad. You know what I mean? Or whatever. Who the fuck knows? My theory, though, is that it was somebody Con Inc. It's the type of guys that fund the Charlie Kirks of the world. Your Koch brothers are a famous example of this, but they're not the only ones. One of those types of guys approached him and said, look, motherfucker, here's how it's going to be. And his downward spiral mentally does sort of jive with somebody that's feels trapped because he's being blackmailed. So that's my theory on Fuentes. Do I know that for a fact? No. But as Spock said in Star Trek VI, it's a theory that happens to fit the facts. It fits. It fits better than most explanations I've heard. So that's what I think the deal is with Fuentes. At the very least, you know he's compromised. You know he's not trustworthy. You're a fool if you support him. You're a fool if you send him a dime, because then he'll have your info. Plus, don't give him money, because he's a piece of shit, and he should die penniless and alone in the gutter. So that's my theory on what happened to Fuentes. Again, I think he very clearly was blackmailed. He very clearly was threatened, and that's where the trajectory change came from. There's no shortage of possible suspects for that. My money would be on something along the lines of the Koch brothers. Not specifically them, but figures like them. The types of guys that fund Con Inc., Conservative Inc. Chat asked, do I think Pharrell is talented? I mean, I guess, yeah. I haven't really listened to Pharrell in a while, but yeah, I always kind of like Pharrell. So he says, imagine trying to realistically ban porn in any kind of practical way. I mean, you can't. And you shouldn't. It's fucking free speech. Okay? He says, well, he loves that Blurred Line song. I do love that Blurred Line song. That song's great. And the unedited music video, the chick in that video is all kinds of topless throughout it, which is fantastic. I mean, all the girls are, but that main one is fucking hotter than the surface of the sun. So he said, I wonder if the blackmail occurred during Jan 6. No, it was before that. It was a little before that. If anything, I think there's a reason he went to Jan 6 and didn't get in trouble. And that's because, he was a Fed. Or he was an asset. He was owned by people that could protect him. Before he says, Jesus, that song is 10 years old now. More than that. Came out in 13, I think. Yeah, but, time marches on. We're We're all getting funneled to the grave. He says it wasn't that good in the first place. It was great. All right, it was a great song. All right, it was good, fun, upbeat, and chicks like to shake their ass to it. And I love all those things. So he says, I remember people losing their minds over it. I remember fucking Todd in the Shadows getting all mad because he hated it. That was a common thing with him. Like, he reviews pop music, and whatever, like, is the number one song, he usually fucking hate it. But I think if anything, he was probably just mad about the fact that Lindsay was cucking him. Says, unfortunately, Blurred Lines gave us the SJW nonsense that is Emily Ratajkowski. I don't even know who that is. Thankfully, the sands of time have erased her, but Blurred Lines remains. So he says, I'm still mad Disney I'm going up to the chat. I'm still mad Disney decanonized Luke Skywalker's redhead wife, a crazy, deadly former Imperial assassin. He reformed her with his big lightsaber. Yeah, Mara Jade, I believe was her name. I remember somebody years ago asking me what I thought of that character, and I didn't even know because I know so little about Star Wars. And I was like, you mean Mary Jane? Like, what? But yeah, if I was a Star Wars fan, I think I would just consider the fucking expanded universe pre-Disney canon, not the Disney stuff canon. I don't think there's any of it worth considering canon except maybe The Mandalorian, at least the first 2 seasons. So he said the Dakotas would be awesome if they weren't so cold. I'm sick of living right next to so many people. If I was going to move somewhere, I'd move to Florida or Vegas. Because they're fucking warm. I'm done with the cold, man. I've been done with the cold for a long fucking time. I'd rather just go to Florida. Government leaves you alone. The weather's nice, aside from the occasional hurricane. Find some bossy fucking Cuban girl to boss me around. Let's see. Just scrolling through the chat. This is Star Wars EU had some good shit. I mean, I never really get into it. Star Wars hasn't been good since 1983. As a movie series, no. I mean, the prequels weren't good. I'm sorry to tell you. I know all the 2000s kids want to act like the prequels were... No, they sucked, okay? The Disney movies might have been worse, sure. But that doesn't make the prequels good, okay? Catching AIDS would be worse than catching herpes. It doesn't make herpes good, okay? The prequels are herpes. They can be suppressed with treatment. They're not fatal, but they're still terrible. So this is Star Wars has approximately 2.5 good movies. I like the original trilogy. I mean, I don't think it's nothing I ever felt the need to base my fucking life on, but I think they're good movies. I'll defend Return of the Jedi too. The Ewoks are fucking cool. I'm sorry to tell you. I don't know where the Ewok hate comes from. They're fucking cool. I never got the, oh, they're annoying. Okay? Because they're actually fucked up, kind of badass little shit. Alright? Oh, they're just cutesy stuff. No, they're not. They tried to eat Luke and Leia. Like, at the end, they're using stormtrooper heads as fucking drums. They're fucking little gangsters is what they are. I like to imagine that the Empire just didn't even know they were there when they put up their little base or whatever the fuck they had going on there. Like, they probably just scanned the planet to see if there were radio signals or something. Like, nope, no life here, it's fine. Because that's how bloated and arrogant and stupid the Empire was. So is it the first year of Mandalorian was pretty good. I liked the first two seasons of Mandalorian. I didn't watch the later ones. I like season 3, and I didn't watch Boba Fett. I didn't have any interest. I heard they sucked. Somebody told me to give the first 2 seasons a shot. They were good. I liked them. Not a Star Wars guy, but they were good. Well, yeah, I like the Ewoks. I think, to me, the original trilogy is 2.5 good movies and 2.5 great movies. Like, New Hope is good. Empire Strikes Back is great. The first half of Jedi is great. The second half is good. Because even if you don't like the Ewoks, all the Jabba the Hutt shit is fire. That stuff's great. But no, I like the Ewoks. Somebody says, weren't the Ewoks basically cannibals? I mean, I guess, I don't know if you can call it cannibal because, we're not the same species. I don't know. Is it still cannibal if the other species is indeed sapient? But, I don't know. That's a difficult question, but I get what you're going for. Yes, they were going to eat Luke and Leia. I know they found Leia, and I guess it was like Luke and maybe it was Han or something. I can't fucking remember who was with him, but they were gonna eat him. And then at the end, there's like stormtrooper helmets that they're using as like fucking drums, and there's still heads in those. You just know there is. And yeah, it's cool to watch all the little guerrilla warfare take down all the big, because the Empire is so bloated and all, they're totally not prepared for that fight. They got these big clumsy walkers trying to stumble their way through the forest and shit. Like, no wonder. Like, no, man, the Ewoks are cool. I like the Ewoks. The Ewoks are far cooler than anything in the prequels. Like, they just are. Now, look, I don't know if those Ewok TV movies are any good. I didn't watch any of those. I'm not going to vouch for the Ewok Saturday morning cartoon. Okay, but the Ewoks, as portrayed in Return of the Jedi, are cool. In fact, if I was going to buy one Star Wars video game, I own no Star Wars video games, by the way, chat. And I have a pretty big video game collection of like NES, Game Boy, the whole Game Boy lineage. And NES, Super Nintendo, Genesis, PS2, 360, and I got a Switch. And I got a fucking Game Gear, too. And in all that, no fucking Star Wars games. But if I was going to buy one Star Wars game, chat, it would be Super Return of the Jedi for the Super Nintendo. Only because there's a code where, because you play as different characters in different levels, there's a code where you can play as any character in any level. And I want to breeze through the whole game as a fucking Ewok. I want to see an Ewok with a lightsaber take Darth Vader down. That would be the only Star Wars game I might actually buy. And I'm probably not going to buy it because I haven't even looked at the price, but it's Super Nintendo, and these days, so it's probably stupid. I wouldn't pay more than $10 for it, and I guarantee it's way more than that. This is an old dude, Shadow of the Empire. Well, you got to remember, I'm not trying to play a Star Wars game for any legitimate reasons. I want to watch an Ewok cut Darth Vader's head off. Shadow of the Empire for N64. I don't have an N64. I've actually never had an N64. Like, all the retro gaming shit I've been into, never got... No, never. My girlfriend had an N64 back in the 2000s that she stole from somebody that owed her money. That was the only time I ever played N64 games. So he says, Carrie Fisher is my bossy princess. Yeah, I don't know how you hate on Return of the Jedi when Carrie Fisher is in a fucking slave bikini half the damn movie. Like, I never got Return of the Jedi hate. I never did. I like Return of the Jedi better than New Hope. I think it's much better than New Hope. Since Mark Hamill's acting in the last movie was so weird, he turned into a distant space. Well, you know Mark Hamill hated that script. Like, he signed on to that, onto those sequels when he thought it was going to be good. So Mark Hamill's acting in those movies is what he was contractually obligated to do. At this point, I'm convinced Carrie Fisher died on purpose just to get out of making any more of them. A lot of people are suggesting Star Wars games, and I assure you, I'm not going to play them. I'm sorry to tell you. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of fun Star Wars games, like on the PS2 I could buy. I'm not going to do it. If anything, I'm going to buy Star Trek games, because I just like Trek more. Sorry to tell you. Like, yeah, I like the original 3 movies of Star Wars, but I'd rather watch, like, Wrath of Khan, or basically almost any of DS9, or most of TNG, or about half of Voyager, or half of the original series. Like, yeah, I don't like Star Wars that much, Chad. I know. I'm sorry. So this is Mortal Kombat Star Wars Edition would be based. I think they basically did that on PS1. There was a Star Wars fighting game that's known for being trash, so. She said a lot of great Trek games from the late 90s, early 2000s. There's a few on the PS2 and all that I've grabbed. I really do mean to play. I just haven't gotten around to it. She said the only Star Trek games I know are the Elite Squadron. She said Star Trek is way better. I've always thought it was. Now, part of that, I admit, is because, you know, growing up, my dad was more into Star Trek. He grew up watching Star Trek, and it was one of those few nerd things that he was actually super into, along with me, so we kind of bonded over it. So I freely admit that colors it for me. But, yeah, Star Trek... Look, any long-running franchise is going to have its low points, but I would argue that Star Trek at its best is much better than Star Wars at its best. Star Wars at its best are fun popcorn movies about wizards fighting in space with magic powers and laser swords. And Star Trek at its best is top fucking quality sci-fi. Like, I would rather watch, you know, Data on trial to see if he has rights than, you know, just a bunch of space laser sword fights. So he said the Star Wars game looked like crap when the AVGN reviewed it. Yeah, that's kind of where I heard of it. So, again, I don't follow Star Wars that much. So, yeah, I have way more Star Trek games. I have a Next Gen and a DS9 game, respectively, for my Genesis. I have a couple ones for Game Boy I picked up. I haven't really played them. I've been snatching up a lot of games that are still affordable just because I kind of know I'm getting out of modern gaming soon. Like, the Switch is probably the last system I'm owning. So he said, I always wanted to get into Star Trek, but only watched a bit of Season 1 TNG. Well, there's your problem, because Season 1 TNG is dog shit. It is dog shit. Let me tell you on TNG, here's what you do. Go ahead and watch the episode Q Who. It's the first Borg episode. And then watch the episode Measure of a Man. It's the episode where they have a trial to see if Data has rights. Watch those 2 episodes, and if they don't do it for you, then Star Trek, certainly TNG, is not for you. But don't watch season 1. Season 1 is dog shit. The pilot is okay. The episode Conspiracy is okay. The rest of that season is virtually unwatchable. So yeah, Star Trek TNG doesn't really get even decent till well into season 2, and it doesn't really find its footing till season 3. But no, don't watch season 1 TNG. Do not do that. Yeah. You will not have a good time. But yeah, season 3 is when it really finds its footing. So you watch those 2 episodes. Q Who and Measure of a Man. Start with those 2. If they don't do it for you, the show's not for you. Don't watch season 1. Forty says you don't recommend the season 1 episode where Laura's introduced. I like that one. That one's not bad. I kind of forgot that was season 1. For some reason, I thought that was season 2. Because it feels more like a season 2 episode in that it's decent. Like, season 2 is decent. But you don't watch season 1. It's yeah. And you don't need to, because most of what happens in season 1 is ignored anyways. There's like 3 things that happen in that whole fucking season that matter. So he says all the TOS movies are better than Star Wars, except maybe 5. I would say the first Star Trek movie isn't better than Star Wars. Star Trek: The Motion Picture is fucking rough, man. That is a rough, boring slog of a watch. Somebody says watch DS9. Yes, I would recommend watching DS9. Unpopular opinion, I'd recommend Voyager. Voyager had some real bangers. Don't get me wrong, Voyager had some fucking garbage episodes, but Voyager had some bangers. Voyager's worth watching through. So it says Star Wars curse. Every time fans complain about something, they get something worse. I would say the Star Wars curse is that you have a bunch of people. Like, you have a bunch of fucking Zoomers right now that think the prequels were amazing because they watched them when they were fucking 5. Alright? And I hate to break it to you, but as much as we all want to shit on the Disney movies right now, there's going to be somebody in like 20 years who's going to talk about how fucking amazing they are. Because they can't let go of the fact that they were 5. There's a lot of things I liked when I was 5, and I look back and I'm like, oh my god, that was actually dog shit. Forney says he likes Star Trek 6, 2, and 4, and 3 in that order. The first one is torturous, and 5 is confusing and lame. There's a lot of good ideas in 5, but its execution is bad. The effects are terrible. I kind of agree with you, though, Forney, that 6 is better than 2. 6 is just aging so well to me. Like, every time I watch 6, I seem to like it a little better. So I do think it's the best of those ones. Just by a hair over 2. So just to talk about the Orville. The Orville's fantastic. I highly recommend the Orville. The only caveat I would give to people getting into the Orville is that you have to remember early on, it was on Fox, and Fox was pushing Seth MacFarlane to make it more of a comedy than it should have been. So it leans too hard into the comedy initially. But by the end of season 1, it's completely found its footing. Season 2 is even better. Season 3 is fantastic. So yes, I very much recommend the Orville. And frankly, while they lean into it too much initially, the comedy really benefits it because it adds a dimension of heart and humanity to it that, let's be real, especially like TNG did not have. The Orville is TNG, but less autistic. Like, the people there feel more real. Even some of the dumb jokes. Like, when the captain first gets on the ship, and Lamar's like, can we have sodas on the bridge? Because the last captain let us have sodas. And he's like, yeah, I guess, as long as you don't spill it. And then, like, later we see, he's, on his control panel, he takes his sip from his straw and his soda. And it's like, you could say that's a dumb joke, but to me that's so human. Because it's like a workplace. So, yeah, those are questions that are going to be asked. Hey, is it cool if I have a soda while I'm working? Is it cool? Like, there's a humanity to that, Forney says all the Star Trek TNG movies are bad, and that includes First Contact. I'll fight you on that. First Contact's good. I kind of like Insurrection a little bit. It's pretty flawed, but there's a lot of good things to it. Generations is pretty rough. And Nemesis is pretty rough. But First Contact's solid. Forney says DS9 is best. Voyager had a handful of good episodes. Most of the characters are playing. I like Voyager a lot. I feel like it definitely had the best premise of any of them, and it really doesn't often live up to its premise. But I like Voyager quite a bit. Some of it's really, really bad, don't get me wrong. But to me, Voyager has about the same batting average as the original series. I mean, about half of the original series is dog shit that I can't even imagine was good fucking 60 years ago. So yeah, Voyager and the original series are both batting about 500. But I like a lot of Voyager. One of my favorites, and it never gets talked about on Voyager, is the fucking Omega Effect episode. I love that episode. So like, here's what happens in this episode. I'll just give you a quick little synopsis of how this episode starts. Voyager's flying around, trying to get home, causing trouble, maybe doing a war crime here or there, as they tend to do. And all of a sudden, all the fucking screens on the bridge go black with a fucking white Omega signal, right? Janeway's like in a ready room, right? And everybody's like, what? I didn't do it. What's happening? All the screens are locked up. We can't do anything. Janeway comes out of her ready room and she's like, fuck. This is all, I'm paraphrasing, obviously. But she's like, fucking hell. This is all I fucking need. Oh my God. And everybody's like, what? What's happening? And she's like, fucking hell. What do I do? All right, everybody in my ready room, we got to talk. So she's got all the senior staff in her ready room. I say senior staff. Fucking Ensign Kim's there. He's a fucking ensign. But whatever. The main fucking cast is all in this ready room, right? And she's like, okay, so I'm really not supposed to tell any of you this. Only captains and admirals and certain special scientists are even fucking supposed to know about this. But we got a fucking problem we got to deal with. So there's a molecule that Starfleet synthesized about 80 years ago called the Omega molecule, and it's just fucking unobtainium to 1,000. Like just butt fuck loads of energy, but it's incredibly unstable, and it usually just fucking explodes. And when it explodes, it fucks up subspace in like a 5 or 6, one molecule blew up a 5 or 6 light year radius area of subspace, and now nobody can go to warp in that fucking area. So it makes faster than light fucking travel impossible. So it completely ruins what, from their 24th century perspective, is the modern way of life. And when the Omega particle is at all detected, the ship locks up, and I'm supposed to call in a special team. But we can't do that because we're stranded on the Delta Quadrant. So we're going to have to go find it and do some war crimes. Like, we're basically going to have to destroy it and kill everyone that had anything to do with it, because we just cannot allow this to exist. And I love the idea of there being something so dangerous that Starfleet's like, yeah, Prime Directive, that's cute and all, but we have to go kill some motherfuckers. Because think like a current day version of that would be like if I had an EMP bomb, that if I set it off, made like a permanent EMP field in a certain area where no electronic device could, like, it's it's destroy modern day of life kind of thing. Like, you'd have to completely suppress that shit. For he says, I like the Voyager episode where they got caught in the atmosphere. Oh, yeah, they got caught in the orbit of this planet, and their presence was causing earthquakes, and the planet was going like 100 times faster time-wise. There was like a temporal distortion. So to them, it seemed like Voyager was stuck up there for like 1,000 years. That was a very good one, too. Star Trek Voyager, war crimes, war crimes, war crimes. But yeah, I just love the idea of the Omega protocol, where it's like, oh shit, that's detected. Well, who was making it? Go find them and destroy their lab and kill them. And suppress all knowledge of it. So Voyager to me is the most inconsistent series, some of the best episodes, but also some of the most painful shit. Oh yeah, Voyager is, when it's bad, it's bad. But when it's good, it's really fucking good. So I like what Voyager did with the Q. Like when they had that episode where the one Q wanted to die because he was so bored with being a Q. That's peak fucking sci-fi. Because that's the kind of thing where you really just kind of ask yourself questions about just the nature of existence after fucking watching something like that. That's great shit. Somebody says claiming the series is good based solely on the decade it was in. It's like saying Captain Planet is good because it was a product of night. Well, no, I'm not saying it was good because of the decade it was in. I think a lot of Voyager still holds up. A lot of it's crap. I'm not going to lie to you. It's batting about 50%. Voyager's like, literally, Voyager writers were like Two-Face, and they flipped a coin every fucking episode on whether or not to give you just peak sci-fi or the worst, or either that or the worst thing you've ever seen. So, there's pretty much no middle ground on episode of Voyager. There really wasn't. And again, that reminds me a lot of the original series. Like, the original series has some of the most, groundbreaking moments in sci-fi. And then it has, like, Spock smelled a flower and turned into a hippie. And it's just... yeah, like, it's, again, the writers just flipping a coin. Like, I'm going to either give you peak sci-fi, or I'm going to give you the worst thing you've ever fucking seen. Yep, Threshold. Threshold is the worst Voyager episode. It's arguably one of the single worst episodes of any Star Trek series ever, at least. At least if you're counting anything like Enterprise or before that. I don't know about now. I don't know if there's probably some Star Trek Discovery episodes that are fucking worse. Like, maybe most of them. But I don't know. We don't count that in this house, so. Yeah, I don't know. Like, maybe there's probably episodes of Star Trek Picard or Discovery or Strange New Worlds or that fucking Rick and Morty cartoon they're doing that are worse than Threshold. The episode of Voyager that literally was an emotional kick in the balls was that episode where, like, Voyager's flying around and then everybody gets sick and starts dying, and it turns out it was the Silver Blood clone of Voyager, and they forgot that they were the Silver Blood clone. I know it's referencing a previous episode, but the ending of that episode is a fucking emotional kick in the balls, man. All right. Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up because I'm rambled on enough, really. Who was it that sent that damn super chat? Duke of Tumwater, I hope you got your money's worth because that was literally all I could do. I'm sorry, man. Owen's rough. Owen's a rough watch. I'm going to go probably watch some more of the Spawn animated series. I got that compendium. I might actually try and start reading through Spawn. I have a feeling it's going to be... I have a feeling it's going to be like Voyager. It's going to be like, some of it's going to be great, and some of it's going to be dog shit. Very inconsistent, is what I imagine. Alright, chat. That's about it for tonight. I want to thank you all for watching. Bedglov out.